Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a good Monday, a good start to your week. We are taking a look at graphing. Again, this whole unit's going to be about graphing, but now we're going to be looking at the form specifically, which is the slope-intercept form. For this lesson, you need, and thinking out loud right now, I'm missing one of my things that I need, but you need a glue stick. You're going to need 5 of these grids and a ruler, which I am digging mine out of my bag as we speak. So make sure you have all your supplies out, and we can get ready. Ms. Hardwick, where is your ruler? Seriously? Okay, I'm going to be using my 3-hole punch because found it! Yay! Okay. So we are going to, we need to use our ruler for our straight edge. So set that all off to the side for now. So the linear equation is going to be written in a specific form. So a linear equation written in the form it's going to be y equals m, which is going to represent our slope. We're going to multiply that to our x value, so that'll be mx, plus our y-intercept, which is b. So we've been looking at y equals equations for the most part. So this right here is called slope-intercept form. And let's write down what these different pieces mean. So m is the slope. That's what we've been calculating over the past couple of days. So it's the slope of the line. And then b is the y-intercept of the line. Alrighty, so first thing, in order to graph these equations in this form, there's one thing that we need to do first, and that is identify the slope and the y-intercept. So these are some examples on how to do that. So for example number 1, I have y is equal to 2x minus 1. So our slope is always attached to x. So in this case, my slope is going to be 2. And our slope is a ratio, remember, so we're going to write that as 2 over 1. So that means I'm going to be going up 2, because it's positive, to the right 1. And then our y-intercept is going to be what's adding or subtracting behind it. In this case, it's going to be a -1, and that's always going to be written as the ordered pair 0, -1. Pretty easy when y is by itself, but here's an example for when it's not. So I have 2x minus y is equal to 4. So this is a linear equation, but it's not in slope-intercept form. So what we need to do is get y by itself using inverse operations. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and I have -y is equal to 4 minus 2x. Y is not completely by itself. I need to divide everything by a -1. Oh, that's why we did that in the last unit. So 4 divided by a -1 is a -4. -2 divided by a -1 is going to be a positive 2, positive 2x. So now that y is by itself, I can say, flying pens, m is always attached to x, even though it's second. My slope is going to be 2. Oh, it's 2 again. And then I can write that as 2 over 1. And if I want to take it a step further and write my directions, I'm going to be going up 2 to the right 1 when it's time for me to graph. Alrighty, then I'm going to take a look at my y-intercept. it is whatever's being added or subtracted. In this case, it's going to be a negative 4. And written as an ordered pair would be 0, negative 4. So the first thing is being able to identify those things. Alrighty, I'm going to scooch this up a little bit. Oh, look, a graph. Okay, so now that we know our values and how to find our values, we can graph the equations using the following steps. Alrighty. Step 1 is doing what we just did. Identify the slope and y-intercept. Step 1 is doing what we did up here. Step 2, you plot the y-intercept, or B. Then, step 3, you use the slope to create at least 2 or more, at least 2 more points. Somebody was just at my door. If that was you, hi. I didn't want to stop in the middle of the video, but you could have done a cameo. Oh, darn it. Okay, anyway. So, so you'll do that to plot 2 more points, and then you'll break out that ruler and draw a line through the points. Alrighty, so let's start with example number 3, which is y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So the first thing that I need to do is identify my slope. It's always going to be attached to x, so my slope is going to be 1/3. Now what that means is I'm going to go up 1, to the right 3. Then I need to identify my y-intercept. It's what is either adding or subtracting to my mx. So in this case is going to be a -2. So my first point is going to be at 0, -2. So I finished step 1, now it's on to step 2. I'm going to plot that ordered pair, 0, -2. So over 0, down 2. And there's my first point. Now from this point, I'm going to use my slope, up 1 to the right 3. So take a look, I'm going to go up 1, to the right, 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Up 1, to the right, 1, 2, 3. Once I have my 3 points, I can grab my ruler, draw a line through my points, and my line has been graphed. Alrighty, let's take a look at another example. Alrighty, focus please. Oh, it's blurry. It's just near. There we go. Okay. So, next we have example number 4. Let's make sure I write it on the line you can see. Example 4, which is y equals -4/5 x minus 2. That x does not look like an x. Okay. So my slope is always attached to my x, so my slope here is going to be -4/5. which is down 4 to the right 5. Down 4 to the right 5. And then my y-intercept is going to be whatever I'm adding or subtracting to my slope. So it's going to be at a negative 2. So I'm going to have a point at 0, negative 2. Then I start with plotting my y-intercept. So over 0, down 2. Now this slope, I'm going down 4 to the right 5. I'm going down because that's a negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from here, I need to make another point, but I can't keep going in this direction. So I'm going to go back to my original point, and I can go the opposite direction, which is up 4 to the left 5. It'll still be in our line. Let's see. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, 1, 2, to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have my 3 points. I'm going to grab my ruler, draw a line through my points, and ta-da! One more example with me, and I'll give you 2 to try. So example 5 is going to be y minus 3.5 is equal to negative 2x. Ooh, and this one, we're not in slope-intercept form. So I need to add 3.5 to both sides. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 3.5. And from here, I'm going to identify my slope and my y-intercept. So my slope is a negative 2, and that can be written as negative 2 over a positive 1. If you need help with your directions, that 2 is negative, so I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. My y-intercept is whatever I'm adding or subtracting to my 2x. So in this case, we have 3.5. It's okay that it's a decimal. We still write our ordered pair as 0, 3.5. Now that I have all my information, I'm going to plot my points. So 0, 3.5, I have 0, and I go up to 3, and then I plot right in between 3 and 4, because that's where 3.5 is. Now from this point, I'm going to go down 2. So down to 2.5, down to 1.5, and then I need to go over 1. I go down to 0.5, down to negative 0.5, and then over 1. Once I have my 3 points, I grab my ruler and draw my line. The ones on decimals are a little trickier. You need to make sure you're taking your time, but you guys can totally handle it. I'm going to leave you with 2 more examples that you can totally try on your own if you feel up and ready for it. I think it would be awesome if you're taking on the challenge already. So I have y is equal to 1/2 x plus 5. And for example 7, which is going to be definitely a challenge problem, you're going to have to solve for y first. But it's going to be 4x plus 2y is equal to 6. So again, identify your slope and y-intercept first. We'll solve for y first on this one, and then plot your points. So try that. I will give you the answers tomorrow in class. Great job. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.